Oh, Drake. I hope he's doing terribly, and he probably is. Hi, welcome back to my channel. We are so back with another ranking of pop culture moments that have aged 10 years because I am going to keep doing this until I'm 30. 2015 was probably the last year I didn't feel imminent doom, so I'm going to celebrate that today. So for the tiers at the top, I have Margot Robbie clapping at the end of Barbie. There's a gif of this that I've seen every day on Twitter or Instagram or TikTok. I feel like it just accurately captures how I feel about the iconic pop culture moments that happened in 2015. Second is Tea I Live For, which is for the chaotic pop culture moments that in of itself aren't great, but I eat up anyway. Third is Margot Robbie staring blankly at Ryan Gosling and Barbie. I thought of this after creating the first tier just to keep things a little on theme. This is when Ken is asking Barbie to stay over at his Mojo Dojo Casa house, and Barbie is like, why? What for? Like, that's just how I feel about the things in this tier. Just very neutral, blank. I don't really care about them. Second to last is On My Cellular Device, and last is Ripped a Hole Through the Time-Space Continuum. There's a very slight difference in these last two tiers. Like, both of them are for the awful things that happened in 2015, but the difference is that the bottom tier is for the especially terrible things, or things that weren't actually terrible themselves but aged horrendously. Like, get me off this timeline. And we're gonna start off really strong with Zayn leaving One Direction. Let it be known that I knew 3 girls that called in sick that day, but on March 25th, 2015, Zayn announced that he's leaving One Direction in a Facebook post. He said in a statement at the time that it was because he just wanted to be a normal 22-year-old, wanted to stay out of the spotlight, but then within a year he got a new producer and he released his debut solo album. Apparently there was a One Direction fragrance that they released after Zayn had left the band, but they had done the photo shoot before he had left the band, but they did it without him because there are pictures from their photo shoot where Harry did not have a tattoo that he supposedly got in November of 2014. So fans were like, oh my god, this isn't sudden. This has been brewing for a long time. Zayn later said certain people were doing certain things. Certain people didn't want to sign contracts. So I knew something was happening and I just got ahead of the curve, which a lot of people think was about Harry Styles. He's also said, I completely selfishly wanted to be the first person to go and make my own record, if I'm being completely honest with you. I was like, I'm gonna jump the gun here for the first time. I'm a passive dude, but when it comes to my music and my business, I'm serious about it and I'm competitive, so I wanted to be the first to go and do my own thing. There is so much drama surrounding the group that I simply do not have the time to dig deep into, but there are other creators that have done specific deep dives on One Direction drama. Zayn leaving the band was obviously the biggest thing that happened though. Casualties, specifically teen girls, everywhere. I'm glad that after all this time the guys seem to be on better terms. Personally, I was never a big Directioner, so I would feel like a fraud if I sat here and told you guys that this affected me personally, so I'm gonna put it in the second to last tier. Next is Adele's comeback in 2015. Adele released 25 on November 20th, 2015, following the lead single Hello, which she released on October 23rd, 2015. I remember everyone singing the beginning line of the song Hello, It's Me because it was memed so much. Like, there were so many viral parodies of this song. Hello, It's Me would have been a viral TikTok sound had we had all been using TikTok back then. In an interview with the Radio 1 breakfast show, Adele said, I felt all of us were moving on, and it's not about an ex relationship, a love relationship. It's about my relationship with everyone that I love. It's not that we have fallen out, we've all got our lives going on, and I needed to write that song so they would hear all of it because I'm not in touch with them. The line hello from the other side signifies the other side of becoming an adult, making it out alive from your late teens, early 20s. This was such an iconic song and an iconic album. If you remember, Hello won Record of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best Pop Solo Performance at the Grammys. 25 also won Pop Vocal Album, and controversially it won Album of the Year over Beyonce's Lemonade. But yeah, this is just such a huge iconic comeback, so I'm gonna put this one at the top. Next is the phrase Netflix and chill. Yup, it has been 10 years since the phrase Netflix and chill was popularized. For all of you youngins out there, for all of you wee tots, this phrase was essentially a slang phrase that meant let's hook up and watch Netflix. The euphemism of the phrase was supposedly created in mid-2014, and by the end of 2014, it was going around Black Twitter specifically. But in April 2015, a definition of the phrase was added to Urban Dictionary, stating that it meant code for two people going to each other's houses and having sexual intercourse or doing other sexual related acts. And so soon after that, the phrase spread beyond the Black Twitter community, and it got so popular that even news outlets like The Guardian wrote about it. Do people actually still use this term though? Because I feel like the only times I've heard that in the last 3 years have been from millennials. No tea, no shade to you guys. I just don't think that people use it anymore, and I never have. So I'm putting this one in the third tier because I don't care about it. Next on this list is streaming. 2015 was the year that streaming services like Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Hulu became the official way to watch shows. And it has ruined everything, from the structure and timeline of TV shows to the way artists are paid to the monopoly that these corporations have. Now we have to spend at least $10 at the minimum per month per streaming service. I recently asked my parents about this, and when I was a kid, getting the expanded package for cable TV was $45 max a month. And now in order to get the bundle for Hulu, Disney, and ESPN alone, you have to pay half of that a month. What? So that belongs at the bottom. Next is the infamous black and blue versus white and gold dress debate. So in February of 2015, in Scotland, somewhere, there is this couple, Grace and Keir Johnston, who are going to get married, and Grace's mom was looking for a dress to wear to the wedding. And so she took a picture of this dress that was black and blue, and she sent it to Grace, and Grace thought that it looked white and gold. Grace then shared the image on Facebook with her friends and family, and all of them gave different answers, and it was pretty split on whether people thought it was black and blue or white and gold. Come the day of the wedding, this woman named Caitlyn McNeil was a friend of the couple. She played in the band at the wedding. She saw this photo of the dress and was just enamored by the whole discussion and debate about what color it was. And so a few days after the wedding, she posted the photo on Tumblr, and that's what sparked the widespread conversation and debate over the color of the dress. It blew up on Twitter, it blew up on BuzzFeed, it got so much attention that the Washington Post covered it, and it literally just looks like both, depending on the exposure of the photo, so I simply do not care. Now we have the Hotline Bling meme. Drake released Hotline Bling on July 31st, 2015. Oh, Drake, I hope he's doing terribly, and he probably is. So the Hotline Bling meme came from the music video for the song, and in the video, Drake was doing these different hand gestures and dance moves, which the meme creators had captured through screenshots. So these images form the dislike and like gestures that you see in the meme. So an example would be like, watching this video and not subscribing. Nah. Watching this video, liking, and subscribing. Yes. I don't care about the meme. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, subscribe to this channel, but like, I don't care. Next is the sharks during Katy Perry's halftime Super Bowl performance show. So Katy Perry performed at the halftime show 10 years ago, and at some point she had a beach set while she was singing her song Teenage Dream. And then two shark dancers come on stage, and the shark on the left seems to have no idea what the fuck he's doing. We don't talk enough about how the trees were killing it. Like, they were killing it back there. But I love this kind of chaos. I appreciate it. Is it iconic? No, but do I love it? Yes. So I'm putting it in the second tier. Next is one of my favorite parts of 2015, doughnutgate. On July 4th, 2015, the day of our beloved USA, Ariana Grande went to Wolfie Donuts in Los Angeles with her friends and with her boyfriend at the time, Ricky Alvarez. You know Ricky, he had the line, wrote some songs about Ricky, now I listen and laugh and thank you next. So they were all in this donut shop, and then leaked CCTV footage showed Ariana Grande licking the donuts on display in this donut shop and then saying, I fucking hate Americans, I hate America. Like, girl, you're from Florida and you grew up in this huge mansion, no less. Like, what are you talking about? Okay. 4 days later, that footage was sold to TMZ, and then it became a viral video that everyone shat on Ariana for. And you know, it was like a shitty thing to do to the business because they had to throw out all of their donuts that day, but also I love the petty energy that they had to sell the footage to TMZ. Like, that is the level of pettiness that I aspire to bring into 2025. But also, some people were more outraged by Ariana licking donuts than they were by, like, I don't know, school shooters. Like, damn, like, she licked donuts. Is that really worth creating a snark page over? But this was so 2015, and I absolutely eat this up every time I hear about it, so I'm gonna put this one in the second tier. Next is Zendaya's Oscar look and the tea surrounding it. So at the 2015 Oscars, Zendaya wore this elegant off-the-shoulder white Vivienne Westwood gown, and she also styled her hair in long, elegant dreadlocks, and she looked incredible. And then Fashion Police host Juliana Rancic made an offensive comment about her hairstyle, saying that she didn't like it and it looked like she smelled like patchouli oil and weed. And then Zendaya responded to that with, there is a fine line between what is funny and disrespectful. Someone said something about my hair at the Oscars that left me in awe. Not because I was relishing in rave outfit reviews, but because I was hit with ignorant slurs and pure disrespect. To say that an 18-year-old young woman with locks must smell of patchouli oil or weed is not only a large stereotype, but outrageously offensive. I don't usually feel the need to respond to negative things, but remarks cannot go unchecked. She then went on to name successful people such as Ava DuVernay, who all have locks in common, and said, I suggest some people should listen to India Aries' I Am Not My Hair and contemplate a little before opening your mouth so quickly to judge. And then Juliana Rancic apologized on Twitter, but she tried to clarify her comments as referring to a bohemian chic look and said that she would never be racist. Like, okay, have you ever heard of implicit bias? Anyways, Zendaya's response was 1,000 out of 10. Mind you, she was only 18. She was really young and so articulate and confident in standing up for herself, and I love that, so I'm putting it at the top. The next thing on this list is the whip and the nene. The whip and the nene were popular long before 2015, but rapper Silento brought the dances to the masses in 2015. Watch Me Whip and Nene hit the Billboard Hot 100, and then there were endless videos of people doing the dance. And I just don't really care about this one, so I'm putting it in the third tier. Another viral video that we saw in 2015 was Pizza Rat. Pizza Rat was a video of a brown rat carrying a slice of pizza down the steps of a New York City subway station in Manhattan. The first upload was on Instagram on September 21st, 2015, and then a copy of that was uploaded to YouTube later. Time and time again, it is proven that rats really do run the city, and I'm sure Pizza Rat is still alive now and probably 10 times its size, because the rats in New York City have gotten so insanely huge. Like, they are fucking massive now. So this is just now an average day for a rat in New York City, so I'm gonna put this one in the middle too. Next is Why the Fuck You Lying. Guys, this was during the Vine era. This was the best internet era. Why the Fuck You Lying was a viral video in which Viner Nicholas Fraser performs a short homemade song about liars in his backyard to the tune of the 1997 R&B song Too Close by Next. Among the viral videos from this year, this one is particularly quotable, and it also came from Vine, so I feel like I need to put it in the second tier. Now we have Snapchat filters, because believe it or not, Snapchat introduced filters in 2015. I did not realize that this was only 10 years ago, and oh, have we evolved since then. Now we have whole ass AI filters, and I hate how far we've come from that, so I'm gonna put this one in the second to last tier. The next thing is Madonna and Drake's kiss. So Madonna and Drake kissed on stage when Madonna was performing at Coachella. Like, she brought him on stage and then kissed him while he was sitting down in a chair, but he looked really disgusted by the kiss. And so everyone was like, oh my god, he did not want to be kissed. He hated that. But then he posted on Instagram after that and said, don't misinterpret my shock. I got to make out with the Queen Madonna and I feel 100 about that forever. Thank you, Madonna. But then a month later, during an online question and answer session, Madonna was asked whether Drake was a good kisser, and she said, you asked $1 million question. I kissed a girl and I liked it. And then another fan asked what advice she would give to her younger self knowing what she knows now, and she said, don't kiss Drake no matter how many times he begs you to. No matter how many times he begs you to is crazy. I mean, like, regretting being involved with Drake, as you should, but this kiss was kind of a hate crime, so I'm gonna put this in the second to last tier. So the Kylie Jenner challenge. Oh god. This was a viral social media trend around 2015 in which people would attempt to make their lips look fuller by using suction. People would place their lips inside a shot glass or a bottle or some other small container and suck the air out, creating this suction vacuum effect that would cause temporary swelling. The challenge was called this because, you know, people were trying to get their lips to look like Kylie Jenner's lips, and for years she denied ever getting work done on her lips or ever getting injections or whatnot, just 2 years later admit that she had been getting those the whole time. Many teens and young adults unfortunately participate in this challenge, and it would often lead to bruising and pain, and in some cases permanent damage to their lips, including injuries like a broken blood vessel and things like that. Guys, please treat your bodies with more love and care. This was kind of awful, and I can't not put it at the bottom. Now we got the 50 Shades of Grey press tour. Did you know that this movie was directed by Sam Taylor Johnson? That somehow makes the trilogy so much worse. So I didn't know about the press around this movie or the press tour at the time, but apparently Dakota Johnson and Jamie Dornan were so awkward on this press tour. Like, stiff and painful smiles for photo ops, really awkward interviews, and this was to the point where people were like, they hate each other. A legit headline from The Cut at this time was 15 inanimate objects with more chemistry than Jamie Dornan and Dakota Johnson, where the writers said that they have the sexual chemistry of two unsalted saltines dunked in milk and smushed together. I don't really know where to put this. So I think I'm gonna put this in the second to last tier. Finally, we have Hamilton. This was the hit Broadway musical that was created by Lin-Manuel Miranda in 2015. It tells the story of Alexander Hamilton, one of America's founding fathers, but with a modern twist. And in 2015, this was a huge cultural moment. It completely shook up Broadway by showing musicals could be both cool and entertaining, but also educational. Like, I think it genuinely made American history feel accessible and interesting to younger, more diverse audiences. Like, I was newly a teenager and I remember it sparking discussions about immigration and representation and storytelling. And even beyond the theater community, it was huge in pop culture. Like, celebrities and politicians like President Barack Obama loved the musical. The soundtrack was a massive hit. It became impossible to get tickets, and so it was super iconic and super cool, so I think it should just go at the top. Another cool thing that happened in 2015 was the series of discussions that a lot of women led about the gender wage gap in Hollywood. Patricia Arquette spoke about it in her Oscar speech. Jennifer Lawrence wrote a letter about demanding equal pay and the standards that women are held to. At the American Cinematheque Awards, Reese Witherspoon also spoke about the gender wage gap in Hollywood. Jessica Chastain said in interviews that she made less than a quarter of what the press reported as her salary on The Martian. Most of the women part of these discussions at the time were white women, unfortunately. I would have loved to hear more diverse experiences during this time because, as we know, the wage gap is even larger between white men and women of color. But, you know, not taking away the importance of all the women that spoke out, I still think that this should go at the top. Next is another favorite of mine, and that is the infamous Miley What's Good from the VMAs. So this all started before the VMAs even happened, when Nicki Minaj complained on social media about not getting a Video of the Year nomination for Anaconda, calling it another example of the media neglecting the contributions of Black women. Then Taylor Swift interpreted Nicki Minaj's comments as a personal attack, which a lot of people were like, that's kind of tone deaf because that was not Nicki Minaj's point. Taylor then apologized for it. She and Nicki were totally cool after that, but Miley Cyrus did not see it that way. For context, Miley Cyrus was the host of the VMAs in 2015, so she did a Times interview a few days before that, or it was released a few days before the VMAs happened, where she talked about the situation and weighed in on it. She said, "It's not anger, like, guys, I'm frustrated about some things that are a bigger issue. You," being Nicki Minaj, "made it about you. Not to sound like a bitch, but that's like, I didn't get my VMA. If you wanted to make it about race, there's a way you could do that, but don't make it just about yourself. Say, there is a reason why I think it's important to be nominated. There's girls everywhere with this body type." What I read sounded very Nicki Minaj, which, if you know Nicki Minaj, is not too kind. It's not very polite. I think there's a way you speak to people with openness and love. You don't have to start this pop star against pop star war. It became Nicki Minaj and Taylor in a fight, so now the story isn't even on what you wanted it to be about. Now you've just given E! News catfight, Taylor and Nicki go at it. Then Nicki Minaj responded to this with, "The fact that you feel upset about me speaking on something that affects Black women makes me feel like you have some big balls. You're in videos with Black men and you're bringing out Black women on your stages, but you don't want to know how Black women feel about something that's so important? Come on, you can't want the good without the bad. If you want to enjoy our culture and our lifestyle, bond with us, dance with us, have fun with us, twerk with us, rap with us, then you should also want to know what affects us, what is bothering us, what we feel is unfair to us. You shouldn't not want to know that." And then at the VMAs, while accepting her award, she called Miley out and said, "Miley, what's good?"
"This bitch that had a lot to say about me the other day in the press, Miley, what's good?"
Hey, we're all in this industry. We all do interviews, and we all know how they manipulate.
This is the celebrity drama I live for. Watching this in real time was crazy, but you know what? Chef's kiss. This is going in the second tier. Next is Marvel announcing Tom Holland as Spider-Man without telling him. So Marvel posted an announcement that Tom Holland was the next Spider-Man in June 2015, and they didn't tell him. Like, no one told his agent, no one from Marvel, Disney, or whatever contacted him about it. He found out, like everyone else, through their announcement in the press. And I just think that's devious and diabolical, but also funny, so I'm putting that in the second tier too. Now we've got Rihanna's Met Gala look, so there's always some iconic red carpet look in these ranking videos, and this time it's Rihanna's from 2015. The theme that year was China Through the Looking Glass, and Rihanna wore a sunshine yellow fur-trimmed cloak by designer Guopei, and she looked stunning, even though she said she felt like a clown, but she looks great. So I'm gonna put her look at the top. Now second to last is Amy Schumer's peak, because unfortunately 2015 was a great year for Amy Schumer. She had her movie Trainwreck, she had 3 Emmy nominations and a Grammy nomination for a comedy album, she hosted the MTV Movie Awards, she hosted SNL, which has all aged terribly because Amy Schumer is a terrible person, and I mean that wholeheartedly. So she is going down at the bottom. And lastly, we have Caitlyn Jenner's Vanity Fair cover. In 2015, Caitlyn Jenner made headlines when she publicly came out as transgender. This major moment happened in April on a very highly watched interview with Diane Sawyer on 2020, where she talked about her journey and her transition. Then in June, she introduced herself as Caitlyn Jenner through a Vanity Fair cover with the headline "Call Me Caitlyn," and this moment was a huge deal because she is one of the most high-profile people to transition publicly, and so this brought a lot of transgender visibility to the mainstream media. And later that year, she had her own reality show, I Am Kate, which followed her transition and efforts to learn more about the transgender community, and she also received an Arthur Ashe Courage Award at the ESPYs. Now, unfortunately, since then, Caitlyn Jenner has been extremely vocal about her conservative views, including her anti-trans views, like supporting Trump's executive order to ban transgender women from women's sports. So if you want trans artists and creators to support, I love Ethel Cain, I love ContraPoints, MJ Rodriguez, Yasmin Finney, I am putting this one at the bottom simply because I cannot put this anywhere else given recent regressions in trans rights and how Caitlyn Jenner has contributed to and supported them. So there's two different sides to it. Knowing what we knew in 2015, I'd put it at the top. Knowing how badly this aged now, I would put it at the bottom. Wow, sorry to end the ranking on that note, but that is it for my 2015 pop culture moment ranking. I hope you enjoy this ranking. Please share your thoughts on what I ranked or on things that I missed in this video. And yeah, thank you for watching.